So you just went on your first tour of a senior living community. And wow, you had no idea how much senior living costs. And all that work you put into your financial spreadsheet, out the window. I'm your host, Valerie Borgman, and this week, we're talking negotiations. Welcome to Desperately Seeking Senior Living, a podcast for sons, daughters, grandkids, and spouses who suddenly find themselves tangled in the search for senior living and care. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and check out our doable download in today's show notes for a printable summary of the show and a bonus tip from our guest. You're listening to our doable tips, short answers to your questions. Don't see your question listed? Send us a note. Then don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an answer. Hi, and welcome to the show. If you're a regular listener, or if you've looked at our website, then you know that I started this podcast to help educate families because most people have no idea how to navigate the senior living process. And let's be honest, no one really wants to think or talk about aging, needing care, or moving from their home. So it's no surprise that most don't know that there are ways to save money when it comes to senior living communities. We actually have a great episode on comparing the cost of assisted living communities apples to apples, which, spoiler alert, you really can't. But in that episode, we talk about the following three areas of cost: the apartment rent, the care costs, and the one-time community fee. So let's start with the rent. Communities calculate these charges differently. Some use what we call real estate pricing and some don't. So an apartment next to the elevator might be more expensive than the same square footage apartment in a different area of the building. And that's what we mean by real estate pricing. One of the ways that you can perhaps save some money is to ask if there's an apartment of the same size or style that you like, or even one that's a little bit smaller that might be less expensive in order to save on that monthly rent cost. You can also ask to be on the wait list for that smaller, less expensive apartment if one isn't available when you need it. So, what about care costs? This is another area where you can control some of the cost. Now, the cost is the cost. What the community charges is what they charge. But you have the option to decide if you want to take on some of that care yourself. You may decide to manage the medications, for instance, or you may decide to give that weekly shower. You absolutely have the right to provide some of that care. On a side note, though, it is not something that you can go back and forth on. So, for instance, if you're providing some of that care and now you want to go on vacation, you can't ask the community to step in for you for that week or 2 weeks. In that situation, you'd need to hire in home care in order to fill that gap. So, make sure that this is an area that you're actually able and willing to accommodate. Many families prefer to enjoy their time with their loved ones and not provide that care. They want the community to do all of the work, the tough part, especially since a lot of families have already been providing some of this care for a while. But it is an area where you can save some money. This brings us to that community fee. Now, the community fee is a one-time fee that goes back into the community's programming. So this is covering the cost of all kinds of things: office, paperwork, the nurse assessment, going back into programming activities, the building, turning apartments, all sorts of things. And this fee varies widely from community to community. We've seen a $1,000 community fee all the way up to $50,000 and more. But this is an area where you can usually negotiate either a smaller fee altogether or dividing that fee over a few months to make it a little bit easier. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about are specials. Many communities will run specials on rent and community fees if they have several openings. So, timing can also help you save some money. If you start your search early so that your timing is flexible, this can help you get a better deal. Depending on where you live, location is actually another opportunity to potentially save some money. If you're in a larger market and you have the ability to go outside of that maybe more expensive market where you're closer to a large city, you can sometimes save some money by doing that. And overall, touring more than one location is a good idea just to make sure that you're finding the right fit. You might also be able to find a better deal at another location. The truth is, senior living, assisted living, memory care, it is all very expensive. So, getting creative about location, care, and timing can really help you reduce cost and hopefully make your budget a little more doable. Today's episode is brought to you by ClearPath Senior Living Solutions. ClearPath helps families find assisted living, memory care, and other resources. Find our contact information in today's show notes. Check out this episode's doable download in show notes for details, including industry terms and definitions we discussed, as well as a bonus tip from our guest. Have questions or your own tips to share? Leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, make it doable.